Hey everybody, it's Mike. Now that the project's over and I've had a chance to reflect after the convention and everything else has died down, I want to go ahead and take a few moments to reflect over how everything went. And I'm going to go ahead and open this up with the bathroom debate itself, since that was the primary focus of this experiment. Um, Everything went exactly as planned, and my original premise that the passability standard was fair held true, as far as I'm concerned at least. It's important to note that the original plan was to have me, if I needed to use the restroom, use it at the convention so that there was a safety net, as that area would have been a little bit more accepting of somebody in transition, and the fact that there were actually trans people there would have made that a little easier. Instead, I actually wound up having to use the restroom at a restaurant, so out in public where there was no safety net. And nobody batted an eye, nobody thought anything different. So that very decisively concludes my premise that passability really is probably a fair standard. While admittedly subjective, it's fair. It's what society would expect. And if you really don't understand what passing as a man looks like or passing as a female looks like, this is the information age. Ignorance is a choice. You can simply go and just Google it. It's that simple. And I think, as Blair White has put it, you know, she wouldn't go and use a communal women's shower because, down below she still has a penis. And that shows where the burden really is. The burden is at the transitioning person to actually have to pass. And if they're unsure, they need friends, they need to ask, and they need to use some good world common sense on how can I do this and make the least amount of waves. I know that's not a popular opinion to have and to tell a trans person, but it's the truth. You have to be conscious of what's going on. And I'll be honest, I tend to avoid communal showers, and I've got all the parts. So I don't see where that's being unfair. I don't see where that's being a jerk or bigoted. That is just the way it is. You can't exactly do a project like this and not reflect on what it means to be a man. So I'm going to take a little bit of time and do that now. In terms of how it relates to female to male transition, since women have been using the guy's bathroom to avoid lines, I pretty much ignored that facet, and I'm going to continue to ignore that facet. That's not really the concern here from the general public. But in terms of being a guy, I think it's important for guys to recognize what women are actually doing. And it really does come down to basic evolutionary biology, and the modern feminists are going to flip having just heard that, but it's true, and they need to accept reality. The preening they expect from the guys, and by that, I'm referring to trying to look youthful. Guys do try to look youthful, believe it or not. The steroid use to try to build muscle mass, things of that nature, the buying fast cars, or perceived fast cars, that's all done to impress women. And that's what they're looking for the most part. And that's something that you see even in the wild world of birds, primates, things of that nature. Women are looking for these displays so that they can see, oh, this person actually does know what it takes to keep me supported. And since the women are having to give birth, they are going to have downtime. That's an evolutionary thing, and as such, I think that that's more of nature forcing the hand of nurture. And so, as men, we need to stop apologizing for being men. So this whole third wave feminist garbage needs to die quickly, because it's not based in reality in any way, shape, or form, and not going to be conducive to men, women. It's not going to make for helpful relationships, and we get stuck with stupid debates like this one. I'm going to go ahead and borrow a Family Guy reference that if there were only two women left in the universe, they would naturally be driven to hate each other. And I say that because men are a resource. When you look at the things that women do, it's not what they say it is. A lot of women say they try to look good for men, the tanning salons, the fake nails, and this and that. They say it's to impress men, and it's not. It's not even close. The tans, the fake nails, the sheer amounts of makeup to try to make the face part of the outfit, that's all done to impress other women. Why? Because it shows that you have time to take on yourself. And I think it's very important for women to acknowledge that, because if anything, it's also holding women back in a lot of ways. When you look at what it takes to succeed in a professional environment, looking good is not quite as important as actually being able to do a job. So, take the fake nails, for example. My dexterity was cut by at least a half to a third. Basic things were almost impossible. Whereas once I got rid of the fake nails, I could do everything quick, easy. Something as simple as making a fist. Fake nails, you can't do that. This is what you end up with. So you can't even defend yourself. And again, this is all done to show other women that they don't have to. They're beyond all of this. And so when you look at it from that stance, all of a sudden you look at this, to role reverse a phrase, you see this toxic femininity, and it makes you wonder if they'll ever get around it. And as a guy, it makes you see a lot of these things as warning flags. If I see a girl running around in high heels, I'm going to assume she doesn't work very much, or at least not work for a living. Same thing with the fake nails. I'm going to assume that she couldn't handle a day of manual labor if she had to. And for me, those are kind of turnoffs. But at least it opened my eyes to what I was getting into. And it's also important to note that even the makeup, the girls were disagreeing on. When it came down to the project, the final verdict on the makeup actually came down to a gay guy. Yes. A guy finally had to sit down with all the women who were competing over the makeup ideas and settle down on what most of the professional cosplayers were doing. Go, this is what's actually going on, this is what you're going to do. So, kind of an important note there. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this by talking about the demographic that caused me to want to take this on in the first place, and that's the actual trans community itself. And I have a lot of sympathy for what trans people are going through, especially after this project. The concept of gender dysphoria was something that I had no clue about, and after doing this project, I have a newfound appreciation for that. It was... the best way to describe it is vertigo. When I had the entire costume on and I saw myself for the first time, my mind could not wrap itself around, this is you, get over it. I had a lot of trouble with that, and this is coming from someone who's been on stages before. I've always played male roles, so at least I always knew there was a guy looking back at me, but when I saw myself dressed up as a woman, my brain couldn't accept this. And so I do appreciate the sensation of the gender dysphoria now in a way that I didn't before, and I understand how disconcerting it can be, and I can understand how some people would find it easier to just change the aesthetics rather than change their mindset. And I think that while changing the mindset is definitely preferable, I can understand why a person would feel, especially with a mental illness, why they don't have the mental power to do it. It's kind of hard to tell a crazy person to not be crazy, and to just get over it. And so, a little bit of respect there. I also think that the trans community really needs to rein in these Tumblr trans people who are trans in name only, who are not doing anything to actually try to transition, because they're giving actual trans people and the problems trans people face a very bad time and making it very hard for society to accept any of this. A lot of real battles were fought long before Caitlyn Jenner, or Bruce Jenner, and the current trend of just saying, oh, just accept me as I am, I'm a female, even though I'm going to keep all of my male aspects, I'm not going to change my voice, I'm not going to start wearing makeup, I'm not going to do any of this, that's a disservice to all those people that actually went through and actually tried to transition. So if you're one of those people, go away. Go away now. Nobody needs you. The people who are actually dealing with the gender dysphoria, they don't need you holding them back. They're having a hard enough time explaining what they're going through without you assholes interfering with the pop psychology. And there we have it. Those are pretty much my feelings on all of this. And in terms of the trans debate in the bathroom, go wherever you're passable as. And I know this is hard to say. Try to keep your circle of friends around as much as possible. They are there to help you. You chose them as friends for a reason. And hopefully those reasons were good reasons. Hopefully they've got your back. See you guys next time. Yeah, I realize I just closed the video, but one of the crew members has asked me something, and I'm going to go ahead and address it now, because it is kind of funny, and this video is way too serious. I was asked if there was any aspect of this that I was probably going to carry along, or that I learned from, that wasn't on a serious note, and that could actually benefit guys. And there is, actually. And this got a laugh from everybody, girls included. And that is the fact that bras are absolutely wonderful for hot and cold pack compresses after chest day. Yeah, so after you do all those push-ups and bench presses, things like that, and you know how does your pec are all sore? Yeah, just you throw on a bra, you pop the pack in there, and it holds it nice and firm in there so you can get on with your life, do on other things. But yeah, the girls thought that was absolutely hilarious. So there you go. Guys, there is a little upshot. Go ahead, check out your bra size, I suppose. Have a good one.